Welcome to the Den, the Dark Entertainment Network. I'm the Gothic Rose, and this is the dark tale of the day. Let me take this moment to reintroduce myself. I am the Gothic Rose, hostess of the Dark Entertainment Network. This is a channel where the news meets conspiracy theories and makes babies in my brain, and it comes out my mouth. I do this because I enjoy it. If you like this type of content, please follow along, because I'm not going to stop. Welcome back, dear fiends of the den, and just a trigger warning, today's dark tale is about Gabby Petito. We all remember the case, and yesterday on Tubi I caught some of her story where her very best friend sat down to talk about her going missing and how she put up a TikTok video which led to other TikTokers and YouTubers being able to locate Gabby's van and eventually her remains. I am here to talk as a survivor of domestic violence and to explain that the FBI agent who was speaking in this documentary did mention how serious domestic violence is, which is one of my platforms, how different domestic violence is from any kind of sexual harassment. And what this FBI agent said is your next DV could be your last. This is a life and death situation. There's a reason this is silent. So let's dive into the story of Gabby Petito and what went wrong. Now, first, I have to say I am quite sickened by watching the footage of those two police officers who, after watching Gabby struggle to speak, to breathe, to compose herself, after seeing bruises and scratches visible on her face, said that she was the abuser because she, in her fear, admitted to hitting Brian Laundrie and he went along with it. And Brian Laundrie was told by the police officers that he was the victim of a domestic violent abuse. And Brian Laundrie started laughing in that interview, and that is the moment I knew how absolutely dangerous he was. And shame on those two cops for not catching that, because you really could have helped her. And by deciding that you were siding with the abuser who stayed calm and cool and collected, as the narcissists do, to make their victims look more hysterical, the outcome for Gabby Petito was not the one that her family and friends wanted. Gabby was found at the Spread Creek dispersed camping area within the Bridger Teton National Forest in Wyoming, and this is near the border of Grand Teton National Park. Her body was discovered on September 19th, 2021, approximately 3 weeks after she was last seen alive. Now, there have been many missing people found in that same area while searching for Gabby Petito, including Lauren Cho, a 30-year-old Korean American woman who went missing in June of 2021, and her remains were found in October of 2021. Daniel Robinson, a 24-year-old Black geologist who disappeared in June of 2021. His car was found crashed in a ravine, but he remains missing. And we have Jelani Day, a 25-year-old Black graduate student who went missing in August of 2021, and his body was found in the Illinois River in 2021 in September. Mary Johnson, a 39-year-old Indigenous woman who went missing in November 2020 in Washington State. Her case still remains unsolved. Sarah Bayard, white Hispanic, 55, Colorado. She was last seen at a gas station in June 2021. Her remains were found in September of 2021 when authorities were searching for Petito. And Robert Bobby Lowry, white Hispanic, 46, Wyoming. His body was found in September 2021 in the Bridger Teton National Forest, the same area where Petito's remains were discovered. The increased media attention helped locate him. Ella Mae Begay, a Navajo, 62, Arizona, missing since June of 2021. Her case gained national focus during the Petito investigation, though she still remains missing. And Kaya Sarah Stops Pretty Places, Crow Nation, 18, Montana. She had been missing since 2019, and media attention on missing Indigenous women helped push her case forward. So many women and missing men were found looking for Gabby. The horrifying thing is that they go missing at all, and that is where they end up. Caught the documentary, The Disappearance of Gabby Petito, the three-part docuseries that is now available on Tubi, and this provides a detailed timeline of the case. It has interviews with Gabby's parents and friends and the online sleuths on TikTok and YouTube who helped solve her disappearance. Now, the timeline is important because when they set out, she was set on having a travel website, doing the van life thing pretty much full time, being a social media influencer. And she was so full of life and light and love that everyone, even if you weren't into van life, was drawn to her. Just like that beautiful, famous photo of her standing in front of those angel wings. Netflix documentary series titled American Murder, Gabby Petito. And this is also a three-part series that delves into the details of Gabby's disappearance and murder, and then explores the complexity of her relationship with Brian and the events leading up to her tragic death. So again, there's police footage and social media posts and all these interviews put together. Now, I just have to say that the part that gets me the most is Brian Laundrie's blatant disregard of the fact that Gabby was a human being and he just left her out in a national forest across the country, away from everyone, hoping she would never be found, and then had the nerve to drive her van back to Florida without her, with people questioning, well, where is Gabby? But I personally think his parents already knew, at least his mother, definitely, but probably both of them, because he lawyered up immediately upon returning home without Gabby Petito, his fiance, and helping to find where she is, or at least say that she may have been missing, when her parents kept calling and calling for her. I mean, we have so much footage that Gabby took herself, that the YouTubers who were doing the van life things they found her van in that one spot where the police were able to confirm by the rock formations that is where Gabby's van was, while he was probably disposing of her body. So many things went into this. Plus, you could see them on surveillance footage in restaurants and supermarkets. I believe one was Whole Foods. And then there was the supposed, maybe it was a Mexican restaurant, where they had a big fight and she left crying right before her disappearance. So here is the timeline of events as it went down. Everything happened very quickly. So July 2nd, 2021, Gabby Petito and her fiance Brian Laundrie begin a cross-country road trip in a van. Hashtag van life. Everything seems to be going good. She's posting to social media and she's having a good time until we see that police footage days before her murder. So, August 12th, 2021, the couple is involved in an altercation in Moab, Utah, which leads to police intervention. Gabby is found crying and upset, but no arrests are made. August 24th to 27th, 2021, Gabby is seen checking out of a hotel and shopping with Brian in Jackson, Wyoming. This is the last time she is seen alive. August 30th, 2021, Brian returns to Florida without Gabby. September 11th, 2021, Gabby is reported missing by her family. September 17th, 2021, Brian is named a person of interest. September 19th, 2021, Gabby's remains are found in Wyoming. And October 2021, Brian Laundrie is found dead, having died by suicide. His remains are later identified out in the Everglades or the Appalachian Trail, where he was hiding out because he was a woodsman. Now, there is so much to this story, but like I said, him driving back to Florida in Gabby's van without her after knowing what he did, I believe he was on the phone with his parents because their lawyer was right there to stop the investigation from the get-go. It makes them all seem guilty. So they did find, thankfully, Gabby's remains incredibly quickly, thanks to her being so active on social media and everyone who knew her or knew of her and was willing to help. So there's all of these online sleuths that are on TikTok going through and finding maps of where Gabby and Brian had hiked. So they helped to pinpoint her location, which also led to finding all of the other people I mentioned earlier. But this is the weird thing is, so Brian comes back to Florida, Gabby's not with him. Her parents are trying to find out where she is. They're calling police and filing reports. The Laundrie family had already lawyered up. And then the Laundrie family went camping at the Micah Creek Environmental Park in Florida shortly before he went missing. And they were not cooperative with the police. They were heavily criticized for not cooperating with the authorities during the investigation when they were combing all of the wooded area and you had search parties looking for him. They obviously wanted to bring him in alive. He disappeared, Brian Laundrie, on September 13th, 2021, right after this camping trip, and his remains were found on October 20th, 2021, about a month later. And we don't know what, like, how long he had been gone before they found him, but they found his notebook where he said that Gabby was very badly hurt and he wanted to put her out of her pain and misery. There was Brian Laundrie's mother's letter saying, "I love you, and if you hate my guts, I'll get new guts and I'll always be there for you." You know, this is a family that seems like they have some weird secrets or something, even beyond the murder. I don't know. Maybe that's just my conspiratorial mind going places. But there are people who do still think that Brian Laundrie is alive. What do you think? Do you think that he faked it and everyone's faking it for him, or do you think that he is really gone? So, as I said, when watching this series, the FBI agent really stressed the importance and the danger of a domestic violence situation by saying your next DV situation could be your last. So let's just talk about a few more important points, starting again with the social media influence. Now, this was really helpful in locating Gabby as quickly as the authorities did because Gabby and Brian documented this cross country trip on social media. And their posts and videos were closely followed by TikTok users and internet sleuths during the investigation, but also so many people who had followed her and connected with her up until then. And the fact that there were no arrests made in this domestic violence incident on August 12th, 2021, even though this police footage, this body cam footage, it shows Gabby explaining and crying that she was frustrated due to her OCD, which means that Brian Laundrie really had the control in the situation, gaslighting her and making her think it was all her fault. She probably didn't even really hit him. He just made a big deal about her hands like swinging towards him. She probably just brushed him, but an abuser will take anything that they can get to discredit you. And that is what he did to those police. And she is no longer here. And that is why you have to take domestic violence as seriously as it is. Now, Gabby's last known communication was a FaceTime call with her father on August 21st, 2021. And she also spoke to her mother on the phone for the last time on August 25th, 2021. And then her remains, of course, were found on September 19th in the Bridger Teton National Forest, and an autopsy determined she had been strangled to death. Now, a notebook found near Brian's remains contained a confession in which he admitted to killing Gabby, and within a short time, he died by suicide after returning to Florida without her. And of course, this case gained widespread media attention and public interest due to the extensive social media coverage. And a lot of it was from her very, very good friend who put up the TikTok videos and started putting up updates to what was going on with Gabby's case, inspiring other TikTokers, like I said, who found maps and helped to locate her, inspired YouTubers to reach out to each other. And there was the couple who had the dash cam footage of Gabby's van, which the police were able to locate. Now, of course, Gabby's story has raised awareness about domestic violence and the importance of recognizing the signs of coercive control. And they like to say intimate partner abuse, and coercive control can also be for kids and even parents if you are just an abusive person and your parents are elderly. So I don't like to say intimate partner abuse. I like to say domestic violence because I feel that it affects the entire household. That's, the moms, the dads, the children, the pets, any elderly people living in the house, everyone is affected by it. So we have to learn to recognize the signs. And there were pictures and video of Gabby with bruises on her face, and still she was not taken seriously. So that is why I say there is a profound difference between domestic violence, which you really could lose your life if you can't escape the situation, and harassment, which is an issue you can escape simply by speaking out and drawing attention to it. But again, this is silent for a reason. Thank you for joining me in the den.